Yeah, buddies. It's the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of radio. I'm Gail Bennington.
I'm Ron Bennington. I'm the father of that show. This could be like, you guys are probably too young to remember to tell the truth, but there would be this show that one person would be telling the truth and other people were lying, and it would always start like this. Hi, my name is Chris Stanley. And then the next guy would go, my name is Chris Stanley. And the third guy would go with, my name is Chris Stanley. And I'd be like a kid, and I'm like, a couple of these motherfuckers are lying. I think they might have tried to bring it back, but they tried to soup it up in a way.
Like make it sexier?
Yeah, I mean,
cooler.
more colorful. After Millionaire, every set just became bigger than life. And I never think that you need to do that with a game show.
You don't like when just like the giant track lighting.
Yeah, and there's some kind of the camera's on some kind of a swing or drone, you know what I mean? And suddenly the entire studio is the size of a warehouse. And this was just three fucking dudes sitting there, two of them lying. And then at the end, when they would say, all right, well, the real Chris Stanley, stand up, all three of them would act like they were getting up. They would act like, and then one would finally stand up. It was very fucking exciting. Because you would think, I knew it was that guy. Wait, he sat back down. It's the other guy.
What's the music show that has way too big of a set for no apparent reason?
That's beat whatever used to be the music thing that you would set. Remember, for a short time, they made a big deal that you could talk to your thing and say, it was like
Shazam.
Shazam. That's what it was. Yeah, beat Shazam. Jeff Applehoff is the producer of that show.
It's so massive. That the first time I watched it, I was like, what does this set cost?
Yeah.
They're saying music. And
they dance in between and all, and they take all this time, and you're like, just come on, let's get to the music. But they're like, hey.
Now there's a DJ booth, and someone's like hanging out over there.
It's Jamie Foxx, and he does that with his daughter. His daughter is the DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Only father-daughter game show.
Yeah, they are the first there. And I wanted that to be us.
I know. I wanted that to be just across the board.
I think it's eventually just going to be the first father-daughter pizzeria. I think we're heading in that direction.
I'd love it.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there wasn't a single game show that I didn't enjoy. I loved every fucking game show. Everything. Password. I love
Password is fun.
I mean, it's fucking ridiculous because they give away the goddamn clue. I would try to close my ears up so I couldn't hear the password. Is frankincense.
I guess that's right. Most game shows you can play along to.
You want to play along. It's the whole point of a game show. Now, here's the answer. Let's see how long it takes them to get it.
Although I guess that is kind of weird about things like Double Dare and stuff, like the kids ones, where you're just like, I think he'll make it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to find the flag in that big nose.
Never like that. That's also the things that I hate on Big Brother. Just like, why are you slowing me down?
It's awful.
Watching the fucking game being played. Who cares?
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if they drew numbers. I don't think somebody's a comp beast, so they're better.
I'm going to be honest. When I've been catching up on this season, I just fast forward through comps.
Smart.
I just don't care about the comps.
No reason to watch.
What happened at the end of the comp?
Just see who won it and is going to have the power, and then what happens. Speaking of which, you and I are going to be guest starring as the first guest stars, Gail, on Bro Watch. And when does that come out, Chris?
That'll come out this evening, maybe tomorrow morning, once we have your interview recorded. That's 8 minutes.
Oh, it's not a live show.
Not a live show.
Oh,
8
I'm
minutes.
shocked by that.
I'm not used to this.
You guys will be part of minutes 12 to 20 of Bro Watch.
And this is the celebration. You're not going to take this into a couple, 3 hours?
No. This is tight.
You keep it the same no matter what.
This is tight, Ron.
Because you're aimed at millennials.
That's right, because people want the shorter content. So here's 20 minutes. You get everything you need to know about Big Brother.
Are you the first person who's ever done a Big Brother wrap-up show? Is that
That's
yours?
me. I'm the first guy. Yeah.
Pioneer.
I mean, there are other shows out there, but I'm the first. And the other ones I call them shillcasts, because there's just shilling for CBS, because they just want a piece of that teat.
Me?
A piece of the teeth?
We've, on Big Brothers, the other Big Brother podcast, we've done a roundtable every year, and Chris has never been a part of it because he always skipped out on it because he stopped watching the show at that
Why
point.
do you call yourself the other Big Brother podcast? I think that's a marketing mistake.
Yeah, there's a lack of confidence.
Well, I got a round table coming up with Ron and Gail Bennington later, so that's
It doesn't
all
even
that
have to
matters
be
to
that
me.
big of a table, you know? It's just the three of us.
But yeah, we could probably just use an end table. I can put my plate on my lap if you want to.
No.
Who's going to be on your round table, Vito?
Gina Marie and Glenn.
Oh, Glenn.
Nice.
That's a big get.
Gina Marie is from Staten Island.
Yeah, Gina Marie, season 15, Staten Island. She came in second place.
I'm going to look up at the picture of her. She wasn't the racist one from Staten Island, was she?
No
She
comment.
was. I remember. I always thought she was hot.
Yeah, she was very attractive.
When are you guys recording that?
Tonight at 6:30.
I might be just hanging out to meet Gina Marie.
Hey, what's up?
Now, does she know the lesbian from Staten Island?
I don't know if they know each other.
I always think that everybody from Staten Island knows
should.
because
They have
everyone
to.
I've met from Staten Island knows the person I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
They probably do.
It's a small place.
She probably got her into it.
There's
Probably.
only 30 people who live on Staten Island, I believe.
It's farmland, mostly.
And didn't she even drop the N-bomb?
Yeah, I think when talking about Crystal, like that season's black female.
Okay, like the way you started to set it up, it sounded like you were going to be like, oh, she was quoting a rap
No,
song.
no.
But you were just like, she just said it. It's
Yeah, he made it seem like it was okay. Oh, it was okay because she was talking about
Oh
a black
no,
person.
that's not what I meant.
See?
Awful.
No, you know what's interesting? Vito is not part of cancel culture.
No.
It's fine with him.
He greenlights everything.
No, I don't know whether you guys saw this, but Ben Carson said something about trans people, and the way he said it was ridiculous because he was in San Francisco. I mean, if there's one spot in the world you're
To
not
watch
going
it.
to get away with this, and then it's always the other thing that kills me, like you think, oh, black people have known prejudice, so they're going to be very careful. No, never happens that way.
No.
They're always anti-gay. They're anti-trans.
Because it's a lot of times the Christian community, too, is the influence there.
Right.
They tend to be. So what was the exact quote that old Ben
Well, he said they were setting up some women's shelters, and and we're going to make sure some hairy men don't get in there under the guys.
Big
basically.
hairy men.
Oh,
Now,
my God.
Here's the fucking part of it that really made me laugh. Well, first of all, just him saying that made me laugh because it's so stupid and awkward, and people were angry. But then he was asked to, kind of explain himself, and he just rips off or quotes Dave Chappelle's special of just because I decide that I'm a Chinese person doesn't make me a Chinese person.
Right.
And this is the funny thing about comedy. It never helps, but it can hurt. And I remember that fucking Chris Rock bit where I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about, and he uses the N-word, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about black people. It's fucking brilliant. I heard that from so many, quoted back to me from so many white people in the same language that Chris Rock did. I'm like, Chris, I wish you could sit here and listen to where your fucking bit is traveling.
That's heavy for that art form. by the way.
I want to take a second too to say something about how we're all shocked and thinking about Carl Ruiz's family and friends. Anybody who's listened to this channel for any length of time know Carl Ruiz. Great, fun guy, a chef who just opened up a restaurant that you wouldn't believe in New York, and passed away over the weekend. And Carl, I first met because he used to bring food into Opie's show. And he would always have food for, because like he'd be hanging around. You're like, hey, I want to make sure you get some. And the restaurant, I think it was his wife's family. And it was real, like traditional, what you would call Brooklyn Italian. You know what I mean? It was over in Jersey, but it was like real. I love this food. I mean, this is maybe my favorite food in the world. And as a matter of fact, when people would come in from Jersey, I would have them swing past that restaurant and pick me up food because I was literally a fan of the food. But Carl was, a fun guy and a funny guy. And Ope started putting him on the show. And at one point, they started to do the show together. And I would always see Carl around town. I would see him cigar places, the Olive Garden. He always treated every place. Every time I would see him, he would be like, just let me get for you. You're going to love that. You know, whatever it was, he wanted to act like it was his and he was taking over and you were in his house. And he was literally just a fun guy. Nick Solaris, who did our show, was because one night at the Olive Tree, he was like, you got to have Nick on your show. And I'm like, of course. All right, fine. I hadn't met Nick or read it. But then he kept saying it over and over, like even after I agreed. And I'm like, dude, I've already said I'm having him on your show. But he just wanted to put people together. A lot of people, after they pass away, people talk about how they love life or whatever. But it was literally true. He was eating food or cooking food, smoking cigars, having drinks, running around town. His Instagram exhausted me. There's like maybe 4 Instagrams that I'm like, I find this exhausting. Bert Kreischer's another one because he lives life the same way. I mean, they have the same kind of personality of just loving every moment, want to make every moment special. And that's how he was. And he had just opened up this beautiful Cuban restaurant. I think it cost them like $11 million to put this together. And the last time I talked to Carl, and this is very, very weird, we got talking about something, and he said to me he would be okay if he died because he's had such a great life. And you know, I'm like, you're a young guy. Who even talks that way? Because we were talking about something a little bit on the edge. And he was like, no, I'm telling you right now, I'd be fine. I've had such a great life. And it was weird. I went and read Opie's thing, and on a different situation, but something else, he said the same thing to Opie. So somehow, in the back of his mind, you know what I mean? It seems to me like he was almost aware that he had to pack more life into it. 2 nights before, Sherrod had put up a thing, and it was Sherrod, Artie Fuqua, and Carl were in some closed place. Maybe it was Carl's restaurant, but somewhere. And they're just 3 guys dancing, and they're listening to hip hop, and they're singing along, and Sherrod's just like yelling into. Yeah, that's the one right there. I mean, you'll just put on.
Oh,
Look, there they are. By the way, Artie's another guy. Sherrod's another guy. They just, you know what I mean? Like it's one lifelong party for them. So to lose him, and I mean, it's incredibly sad to me. And those guys all hung out together. Sherrod and Opie and Carl and somebody else was part of that.
Vic Henley.
What's that?
Vic Henley.
Vic Henley, yes. Vic, they weren't always doing shows together, but they would get together and go to restaurants. And, I'm crushed for those guys, crushed for Carl's family. 44 years old. It's terrible. It's just, you can't even wrap your head around it.
I almost wrote to Vic this weekend, but I thought to give him space instead. But I just know how much he loved him. The last time Vic was here, he was talking about wild stories of them together and how much fun that they have, and just what a wild, crazy spirit.
Well, this is the new restaurant is like this high-end Cuban restaurant, but those guys would enjoy dive bars and chili dogs. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't the kind of chef who just liked high-end stuff. As a matter of fact, if you look at Carl's stuff, you will see one of the last pictures he took, and this is kind of ironic, was an Amtrak train dog.
Yeah.
And there is that thing of, look, there's Vic and him just together right there, doing some shots, having fun. There's nothing work related about that. It's not show related.
Yeah. And by the way, the same idea of how you said, he made a comment like, I've lived a good life or something. It's almost like there was like him knowing that. Even just 2 days before on his Instagram, there was like a picture of him with a burger and was like last meal worthy. You know what I mean? Like there was something about like grabbing onto life and
Yes.
just kind of living like it was your last.
We literally say that about people, but in this case, every day was the thing. I mean, what are you putting the cheeseburger up? By the way, I don't even agree with all Carl's. You know what I mean? I see a lot of the things that he says is fantastic, but he was at a place I've always wanted to go to in Jersey. I think it's called Rudder Dog or something, where they deep fry these dogs so much that they pop and they rip. Is it rippers or something they call it?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. It's the Ruts Hut. Jenny Hutt's family owns it. And, you know, I vote, but he would go out of his way to find those kind of things. And I remember when everybody in Florida was mad at him for saying the best Cuban sandwich was this place in Jersey. And people in Florida lost their shit. And he stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
Because they love, you know, Cuban sandwiches down there. And there's a lot of literally first generation Cubans. I don't really trust many Cuban places when I'm outside of Florida, you know?
I had one in Brooklyn that I thought was fantastic, and I was like, I haven't had one this good since I lived in Florida. And I started talking to the people, and of course they had just moved from Miami and up there.
Absolutely,
and, like, okay,
and that's the way it should be done. But I was upstate New York and had a good one not too long ago, better than places I've had in the city. And I don't know how they pulled together because that guy didn't look Cuban at all. So I guess I'm going to take over for Carl now. I think he'd want me to. I'm going to start putting up pictures of slices on my,
that sounds good.
Get my Instagram going if you'd like to follow me, everybody. But yeah, this is, it's a tremendous loss. I got in contact with Opie and, I mean, it's going to be very tough for him to get over. They were very good friends, particularly at a time where I think Opie really needed a new good friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I don't know anybody that didn't, like hanging out with Carl. And I just, the fact that he got to open that restaurant is, it's kind of great because, I mean, that's the best part of anything is the beginning. You know what I mean? You don't want to be, oh yeah, we've been here for 7 years. That's a grind. But, when you just open a restaurant, it's so fantastic. It's a great feeling, especially when it opens nice like that. But I'm absolutely stunned. To another friend of mine who, this is somebody I know from the cigar world, and that's how he knows Carl. And he was like, he didn't know about it. And this is a guy that none of us have contact with. And he's like, oh my God, that's terrible. He goes, well, he always ate like shit. And I go, so do you. So does every fucking person I know. I don't know a lot of health nuts.
Yeah.
Plus, there are people that are 600 pounds. Why aren't they having heart attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that a van has to pull up and drop them down. Their heart goes on forever. Another thing, and this was always big, our friend Hard Rock Johnny, he was always impressed that Carl was part of the Flavortown crew.
Yeah.
And that was like the big thing for him to know somebody and get the chance to meet somebody from the Flavortown crew.
He kind of fans out with Flavortown.
But this was the other weird thing too, is like, so I come home from the club, I guess it's Saturday night, and people were contacting me, is it true about Carl, is it true? And I'm like, I don't know. And I went around and it was only on social media, and none of Carl's friends had said anything. And later I found out they wanted to wait until his whole extended family found out about it. And I'm like, well, Carl's done enough stuff that you would think, he would get some play out of the news media. But they waited like a full 24 hours. Now it's everywhere. Celebrity chef.
Mm-hmm.
They say celebrity chef rather than chef.
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not enough to be a chef. No one says celebrity baseball player, Brooks Robinson. But heartbreak. It seems like we're losing a lot of people
It
lately
really
too.
does. I was thinking that, and so shocking, and just I really felt horrible seeing everybody just share memories about him, and I was just like, man, it's just crazy. It feels like it's happened a lot in recent time. in that community.
Yeah, it's a very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to grasp when somebody's suddenly gone. You know.
Yeah.
Like it's
Loss
not.
is never easy, but it's like when it is, it really feels so sudden and like someone's really stolen from you. It's a shock. I think it takes a lot to process.
I went and read Nick's thing, and then we got in touch with him, and like I said, I got in touch with Opie because you don't know what to say. Your friend was a good guy, but that's true. You know what I mean? But it's a heartbreaking thing. And like you said, it seems like it's happening more and more. I blame it on global warming. If I was to say anything.
You think it's...
No, but people like when I bring up global warming.
I know, Gretchen does.
They go, thank you. Well, Gretchen who? Carlson?
Gretchen Thornburg, I think her name is. She's the youth activist.
Oh, I feel like she talks just like Daniel Simonson. You know, I can't even do his weird accent. I want to be the guy. I saw him over the weekend. I was down at the Underground. And he just crushes it. And then I go up after him, and I say to the audience, I was just talking to Daniel, and he said to me, hey, you think these fuckers believe my character? And the whole entire room goes, oh. Like they were like, is it? And I go, now you'll be thinking about it. But they were mad that I even said it, like I ruined the illusion.
I want to believe.
And then, I just went into my fucking Neil Diamond, and they all loved it. Hot August night, Daniel is fake, but I'll make it all right here. Because I put on the sunglasses and I have the glittery jacket.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you want to do the whole look.
I had a very weird experience there. So I was down at the Pussycat, and when particularly on the weekends, you got to do your exact time, right? You got to do your exact time because everybody has to do their time, and then you got to flip the room. And a lot of these rooms have 3 and even 4 shows a night. Do your exact time. I don't give a fuck if you're killing or dying. Do your exact time. That's the one rule. So I'm up there, and I kind of went through everything, and I'm like, oh, that's done. I don't know, I get something else, And then, I'm at a certain point where I'm like, hey, did I miss the light? And people in the back are like, no. I go, okay. And then, I go back in, and I'm doing very, very well with the audience. And it's, I'm having a blast, but I'm like, you stop being able to gauge time. Literally what I was thinking to myself, because I haven't felt well lately, and now I'm like, well, I guess that part of my brain is going. I no longer can gauge time. So it came, finally, the light comes up. I ended up with a bit, and I go off stage. I go, how long was I up there? And they go, 27 minutes. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? The next guy was late. But no one gave me the old-fashioned stretch or anything.
That's a stretch.
So rather
just be like, nope. Just
And here's the thing that makes me mad about myself. Instead of thinking, I've been up here a long time, I wonder if the next guy's late. You know what I mean? That didn't occur to me. I just thought to myself, I guess I can't gauge time properly.
Unstuck.
Well, that's done.
Yeah.
Time is done.
How long have you been in here? 3 hours? Or has it been 30 seconds? I can't tell. Hot August night.
I hope you did that in the middle
Yeah,
of
I
it.
did. Fucking place goes crazy. Yeah.
Oh, of course. It's Neil Diamond.
Well, anyone could do impressions, but singing impressions, that's the way to go. Mm-hmm. When I do,
you and Fallon.
Yeah, me and Fallon do it. And when I do New York as Jew York, everybody just has a great
that goes
time.
over well.
We're all here, right here, Jew York.
Chris sang along. I did.
Let's go get Kinnish. I'll get a, and everybody loves it. It's a Danny Love tribute. Danny Love will always find a way of putting Jewish references.
He does it a lot.
Yeah. I hear he's got a new album coming out.
Oh shit.
You know what else Danny Love likes to just throw in there is tits or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's up to you, big tits, big tits. Hey, look at those tits. Now take off your bra.
Yeah.
I need to go back to see him.
Yeah, I do
That
too.
was so much fun.
I heard they have an upstairs room with a lesser Danny Love.
No, I don't
that
want any
sounds
part of
like
that.
Yeah, no, yeah, that sounds horrible. Yeah.
I want hardcore.
yeah.
No.
You know what I
Fucking
mean?
OG.
I want
I
to be
don't
on
know
the
if
ground
I've
level.
ever seen anybody come down any steps there. You know, the diner that we go to, I showed Gail, I go, those steps, no? And she's like, what?
Really freaked me out. We've been in there a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points over like, I never noticed those steps. And I was convinced they were new steps.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's no way those are new steps.
Not at all, no.
Don't act like you saw the steps before.
He had nothing to do with it. He's
Yeah,
just
You're trying to act
just like when
I'm
he
an
tried to
idiot.
sing along. He doesn't want anything to come up about his fucking lock show that he did over the weekend.
That's the lock of the week.
Not
Locked
so
and loaded.
lucky, right?
No, it's I'm at 3 at 6 for the season. But I feel
This
like
week, what, you hit one?
I hit one, yes. I said take the fucking 49ers to cover 6.5. They won, but they won by 4. And for some dumbass fucked reason, I looked at the fucking Panthers Cardinals game, and I said Cardinals are at home plus 2.5. Fucking Cam Newton isn't playing. It's a fucking blowout. Panthers fucking win 38-20.
Cardinals are terrible.
I know they're I know.
I have a friend who's a Cardinals fan. He's like, I'm not even watching them this year.
No more.
That's how bad they are.
And then Browns Rams came in. Rams covered plus 2.5 or minus 2.5. excuse
Right
me.
down to the last seconds
Yes.
because they could. First of all, I thought that was an easy lock for you because
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was only 3.5. And I mean, you were. The fact Baker Mayfield stinks is the only thing that fucking protected you.
Yeah, and the fucking Rams suck.
I mean, they were at the 4.
I know.
With fucking 4 plays to run from there, couldn't get in.
And the way the just the rest of the game, the plays that the fucking Browns were calling were fucking terrible. It was just
There's a lot of bad football this year.
There's a shit ton. Obviously, there's the Dolphins.
Also, the Giants fucking Bucks game was as bad as a high school game.
Fucking shank kick.
Sloppy?
Yeah, I mean, that was bad all the way. The guy missed 2 extra points. There was
Yeah.
fucking, just like, how do you get to that point where you can't, you're a fucking professional kicker and you can't kick 20 yards? What are you fucking talking about?
It's shocking every fucking time. For it to happen, it was fucking awful. Just a terrible game. The Bills Bengals game was really bad. The Bengals are barely a fucking football team.
Yeah, it's a bad league.
Yeah, it's really bad.
The NBA is going to shoot past it. You watch.
Good. Finally.
Frank in the Bronx.
Hey, family, what's up? I just wanted to add to what Ronnie was saying about Carl. I mean, I was introduced to Carl through the shows and had a chance to go to his restaurant, eat the empanadas, which are tremendous, and just be treated to his large, life. And just laughed, and we did shots, and it was just a great guy. And he will be missed, and it's crazy how that industry keeps taking its shots, as soon as the guy starts to take off and he gets, it's crazy. There's parallels everywhere, but you get to the point where, you think you're there, and he was almost okay with moving on. So it's just crazy. But
Well, I don't understand what you mean. What do you, you mean that the industry is so tough?
No, I just think that you lose a lot of these chefs that have become more than just chefs. They've become personalities, people you follow. I mean, I was following his recommendations of where I'm going to get a dirty water dog
Right.
based on his corner. 8th and 11, try this guy's dog. Bad crowd, buns are tough, but not a bad tasting dog. I mean, just things like that, that's all.
Yeah, he would always put that kind of stuff on his Instagram, place to get a slice.
Yeah, and other chefs would talk about, Michelin and all that crap. Carl was a chef, a great chef, but he was also okay with getting that slice or the corner deli, and he didn't take it out. I think you were talking about Rutt's hot dogs before.
Yeah.
Just the photos from that place was just unbelievable, man.
I know, I got to stop there. I never, next time I'm in Jersey, I got to go there.
Looks so good.
I'm with you. I'll go next time I'm there. I'm going to find it, and if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to have a few just for Carl.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, dude. It's
Thanks
good to
so
talk to you
much.
today.
Thanks, Frank.
I think that's the way everybody is going to remember him. You know what I mean? He's just a guy who was literally fun. You know what I mean? And not all funny people are fun. Very few of them are. To find a fun person who makes the whole thing a lot more fun, it's rare.
John in New York.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
I have a quick, pretty cool story about Carl. So one day I'm heading to work and waiting in line for the ferry from Jersey, and I see him, and I walk up to him. I say, "Hey, you're the Cuban." He's like, "Yeah, I'm the Cuban." And then we start talking, shooting the shit. I tell him I'm a fan of Opie. I've been listening to Opie and you guys since I was in high school. I'm about Gail and Chris's age around now. And, he's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And we're talking, shooting the shit. We go across to Manhattan. He's like, "Hey, I'm about to go do the podcast with Opie." He's like, "Why don't you come with me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Mind you, I'm supposed to go to work right now."
Right.
I go on with him. We take a cab over to Midtown or whatever. We stop. He buys me a papaya dog and buys
he
one
was a
for the
papaya
show.
dog
Everybody's
guy.
got one. He loved them. And then he brings me up there. I meet Opie. I'm sitting in there like 3 feet, like they're doing the podcast, and it's incredible. And, such a unique experience. And that's just the kind of guy he was. Like,
Yeah.
I was with him for 3 hours, but he makes you feel like you knew him your whole life, you know?
When I would see him at JR Cigars, right, he'd always be with somebody, and he would come over. "Hey, I want you to meet this guy. Hey, you guys should do something together." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I would just like to say hello. You know what I mean? I'm not as open as you are. You know what I mean? I don't want to go over to his place later. But he always wanted people that he knew to get together without him.
Yeah.
Too. You know what I mean? There's certain people who they just feel it's their place to bring human beings together, and sometimes it works out as real opportunities for people.
Well, that's such a sweet story that John told, because it's the kind of thing that people hope that they would have a connection with somebody that they like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he went above and beyond. It's like the dream connection.
Believe
where
me,
you're
I
like,
met a lot of people that I like. It's fucking rare.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I want to spend even more time with that person.
Right. Sergio in California.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I got a friend that moved to New York, and he's like, "Hey, that chef you're always tagging on Instagram is sitting right next to me at a bar."
Right.
2 minutes later, I'm on a construction site, and I get a FaceTime phone call from Carl on my buddy's phone.
Yeah.
The only time I ever talked to him, he says he was drinking whiskey. He said, "Make sure you never get married, keep partying, and thank you for working."
No. Every day was a party.
Yeah.
I mean, that charade thing is just hilarious.
I know, it's so cute too.
Was this coming out in me?
Yeah, I think it is.
I drive myself crazy with this fucking phone. Let's see if I'm playing. Oh, it was suddenly Dionne Warwick about this saying a house is not a home.
So good.
It's true. A house is not a home. The chair is still a chair, even if no one's sitting there.
Right.
But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home.
I never
When
said
you're
a
not
chair
there.
was a house, though.
I'm just pointing out the differences.
I get it. I just don't want you to be confused. I didn't think that chair was your home.
No, I'm just the metaphor.
Oh, okay.
That, a chair doesn't need someone to be sitting in it
Right.
to be a chair, but an unlived in house is not a home. A home has to have
Yeah.
that spirit. That's what I meant by that. That's all.
Empty chair is kind of sad, though.
I never felt bad for a chair.
That chair just needs a butt so bad.
A chair is not a child. Huh?
Drop this chair.
By the way, it takes me 7 hours a day to unwind my earbuds and 30 seconds to turn them into just a clusterfuck.
You're like full-time slinky with that thing.
Yes,
like
I
when
am.
The metal slinky gets all wrapped up.
You have to understand something. A slinky can't be fixed. People won't give in. But they can't. I mean, you could try forever. It never goes back. There's nothing sadder, when it's like a house. Than that.
Slinky's not a chair.
There's slinky with a bad fucking side.
I know. The indent of the kink stay forever, even if you get it unwound.
But a house is not a home. Last night on the Emmy Awards, there was a lot of razzing saying, hey, this hostless Emmy Award stinks. It doesn't work well. From the same people who have been part of the cancel culture, same media, because they can't hire a comic anymore because you guys go fucking crazy because a joke happened once.
They have to have had a squeaky clean life leading up to any given event.
If you don't want Tom Bergeron, then keep fucking attacking everybody else.
Spike in Canada.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Good.
how's it going?
Hey, I just want to say, the guy he really was amazing. He was kind of like Anthony in a way. He could hold his own in a room with anybody, with his professional comedians. And those guys, they seem to have a blast on Opie's afternoon show.
Oh yeah. They have a good time all the time.
They had a great time.
That's why it's going to be such, a difficult thing to come back from, because the next time everybody gets together, you know what's missing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you could act as happy as you want, but there's still going to be a part of you that misses him. But, like I said, I was with him at the Olive Tree one night, and there was a lot of big name comics, and he was just running over, hey, but, you know what I mean? No matter who it was, he feels like he knows them.
Yeah.
He was very comfortable in his own skin.
Mo in Jersey.
Hey, Gail.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey.
So, yeah, I met you were talking about JR Cigar. One day I was there with Carl. We were smoking, and I think his back was to the door, and you walked in, and I went, hey, I said, Ronnie B just walked in. And he turned around, and we ended up talking to you for a few minutes, and you were just so gracious, and I met you at the Creekswood Kids thing through Bobby Kelly. So
Yeah. But, see, there's a thing, like, everybody knows Carl from all these different places, but he knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And wanted everybody to be together. It's a tough one, dude. It's a tough one, and I feel for you and all of his friends and his family. Open put up a thing today about when they started doing that show. Carl was just getting a divorce, and he wasn't part of that restaurant that he'd been working at all those years. He wasn't doing anything at that time with the Food Network. That had kind of run its course. And he had like a cabin. And, there's the picture that I'll put up. You can see how this is like patio furniture he had in. But he was the same guy. He was very happy. He was like, this is good. Being zero is good. You can't fall any further. I think there's something when you know that you have a skill that you can do anywhere. It's very helpful. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Guys that cook know I could cook. There's a million restaurants, and I could always turn a restaurant around. And he had within a year, opened up an $11 million high-end Cuban restaurant from being there in that spot. And in both places felt okay about it. And when I tried to even ask him, aren't you, fucking stressed about opening up this restaurant? He's like, well, it's a restaurant. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Everybody can come around.
People with that personality is like, they're rare but that are so amazing to be around.
I was supposed to take your cousin to that restaurant from Hawaii.
Yeah, I remember.
But their scheduling is so fucked up that to do everything, I couldn't go that night. I'll always regret it for the rest of my life, because I thought, man, they're gonna love this fucking place,
Yeah.
and they're going. You know what I mean? Like when somebody comes into New York, I want to give them something that is very unique. Oh, to have people come in when they don't fucking. They're like, oh, we should be there by, and I'm like, well, there's reservations. Well, we also wanted to get a shower. Then why are you fucking hanging out with me? Why don't you just say, I'm in New York the same time as you. Leave it as that. I'd rather no one came to New York, is what I'm trying to say to you. Is that too much to ask? Family and friends, don't come here because you can't do things properly.
Plus, everybody's a slow walker.
Yeah, they are.
The outsiders always are. They go at a very weird pace.
Really?
You would expect Chris to be a lumberer. He's a fast walker.
He is
Yeah.
very fast.
Yeah, I have
He's a
great
very-
acceleration.
Yeah. I mean,
Endurance, no.
No, but you'll give us 32 seconds of everything we've ever wanted.
yeah. Anytime I've ever left the building with him, he's like a block and a half away in a shot. You're like, what?
The whole city is a parking lot because it's UN week and Trump was in town.
Yep.
And you just can't move in the city. They're just like, I don't know why anybody would have a car in today.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I was telling people when I was walking past them, I go, get out of your car and just start walking. Abandon it like it was Woodstock 69. I want to go over some of this, see if whether you agree. This is the Emmys from last night.
Okay.
Outstanding drama series. And it was This Is Us, Succession, Pose, which I've never seen, Ozark, Killing Eve, Bodyguard, Better Call Saul, and then the winner, Game of Thrones. They gave it for its last time.
I think it was a thank you for all the seasons gesture. I think a lot of people would agree that this last season wasn't their best work.
I only saw the one season this season, and I thought it was fucking fantastic.
You loved it.
I give it an A.
Really?
I didn't see all that shit coming down. It was all surprising.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was 7 seasons before that. I would not have given. I give it an F.
I'm glad they got rid of the White Walkers easy enough, though, because I felt like that was dragging.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
7 years building up to that. Just really ended in an episode.
yeah, really didn't even seem all that hard.
Nope, not
Just
hard at all.
a quick stab.
How many people died? It seemed pretty easy.
I was surprised they went right to war after that war that they had planned for 7 years.
Oh, you mean the one where most people died?
Yeah. Best comedy series. He was nominated: Barry, Good Place, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Russian Doll, Schitt's Creek, Veep, and the winner, Fleabag. I'll just say that's a pretty good lineup, though.
It's a really good lineup, and I feel like in most circumstances, I would have said Russian. Like I wouldn't have picked something to beat Russian Doll for me, but Fleabag is very well deserving of that award. Absolutely.
I think it's a better series. Russian Doll is a great woman, but that show is kind of wacky. You know what I mean? Like the logic doesn't always work as a show. And then lead actress in a drama series, Killing Eve. I would have thought. And who's Jodie? Oh, she's Eve?
She's Villanelle.
Oh, she's fucking hot.
Yeah, she's
crazy hot.
Really hot.
I can't believe Mandy Moore is in it for This Is Us. I guess the world's changed quite a bit since I knew who Mandy Moore was. Sandra Oh is terrible, just the worst.
Yeah, she really sucks.
And I like the show, and she's bad. Robin Wright, I've loved forever. Viola Davis, I thought she wins everything. And then Emilia Clarke for Game of Thrones. Which one is she?
She is the dragon queen.
The blonde?
The blonde, yes.
Sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy lady.
She's
this
sexy.
is based on sexiness, I think, and looks like Killing Eve blood.
Directing for a drama series, Jason Bateman won. Does he direct the whole series or just that
I think
thing?
some episodes.
Some
so
episodes.
They go based on.
Don't
what
they
you
submit? They submit one episode.
This way you don't
Right,
have
but
to
I'm
watch
asking who does it all? Does he do? He might do all of them for all we know.
I don't think he does every single one. I could be wrong, but I think he does quite a bit of them.
Outstanding lead actor in a drama series went to Billy Porter from Pose, and they were excited because he was the first openly black gay man. And I'm like, I think we're at the point now when we can stop having first. You know what I mean? I think the first black and the first gay are plenty.
Actor, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what Pose is. Or
Supporting actress in a drama series, Julia Garner in Ozark. She's the little blonde. She's fucking great.
So good.
She's really good.
She might be the best actor on TV.
Her choices in that character are just so unbelievable. From her walk to her side mouth delivery.
She breaks my fucking heart.
Good. She's so good on that show.
They treat her like shit.
And she beat pretty much every female on Game of Thrones.
Good.
She was up against.
Bateman directed 2 out of the episodes out of the last entire season.
Oh, but they go and give it to him
Yeah.
out of all the people.
Yeah.
Who can tell which is better? I thought the 3rd episode was directed better than the 4th. Writing for a drama series, Jesse Armstrong, Succession. That's a fucking fun show to watch. I can't believe no one's watching it that I know. I don't have a single friend watching that. Wait, why don't I just leave it as I don't have a single
No,
friend?
that's not true. I have a baby. It's hard.
I had one friend, Carl.
Oh, that's really sad.
Peter Dinklage won Game of Thrones, and then more importantly, he said some of the most talented motherfuckers out there. This gang right here.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's real cool.
I like when people say MFers on TV.
Variety talk series. Everybody but Jimmy Fallon was nominated. Jimmy Fallon has not been nominated since he rubbed Donald Trump's hair.
Wow, the shut out.
He is shut out. And the winner is Last Night Tonight with John Oliver. And this always bothers me because he's doing one night a week, 4 fucking months out of the year. When these other animals are on the grind, 5 fucking days a week, 50 weeks a year. It's cheating.
I mean, looking at the list, to me, it's the superior show. But yes, I would say it's a bit unfair. They have a lot of prep.
Yeah, they got all week to do this.
Same with Full Frontal, is a once a week show.
And each episode of John Oliver's one topic, right? Is that usually
It's one topic.
Main topic.
Fucking speed reads through the whole thing. We get it. But you know what I mean? You can't compare what he does to what Colbert does. It's just fucking saying best song versus best album. You know? You can have a fucking good song on a shitty album. And if John Oliver could have done that kind of show 5 days a week, they would have kept him at Comedy Central. He needs a whole fucking week to memorize his speed reading. Saturday Night Live won for Best Director. How can you even tell in that situation? Variety sketch series also Saturday Night Live, which is it's very weird who they're up against though, because like I Love You America with Sarah Silverman, it's a very different kind of show.
Yeah.
You know, writing for Variety series last week with John Oliver. Again, how can you tell? How can you fucking tell who did the good writing? I thought John Oliver was so fucking talented. Outstanding television movie, Black Mirror. But isn't that a TV series?
Well, all right, so Bandersnatch was the movie that came out at the end of last year where it was like choose your own adventure.
It was like
I
Black
never
Mirror
did it.
Presents.
Isn't that an episode?
No, it was like technically it was Black Mirror presenting this short film. I guess
How long
feature
was the
length.
film?
No, actually, it's hours long depending on like what you choose. It could be as short as 20 minutes or it could last like an hour and a half.
That I would like.
I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it in the last year, but
you always loved the Choose Your Own Adventures.
yeah, I was a big fan of those as a kid.
Let me see what this one is. Outstanding lead actor in the limited series, Gerald Jerome. When They See Us. I've never heard of this.
I watched that. That was the short series about the Central Park 5 that was on Netflix.
Oh, right.
And this was the kid who played. Everybody else played a child or an adult. He was the only one who played his character childhood all the way through adulthood, and he was amazing in the show. He really deserved to win. It was one of the most it was one of the most powerful things I've watched. I went into a deep hole of just looking at everything I could with the Central Park 5 and just
I watched it. I still think they're guilty.
You sure you watched the same show?
What are they doing there in the middle of the night? Raping?
You always say where there's smoke, there's fire. I think you came up with that.
I did. And there was smoke. Patricia Arquette won for the act. She was unbelievable in that. RuPaul's Drag Race won for something called competition program.
Why isn't Big Brother on there?
Amazing Race, American Ninja Warrior, nailed it. Top Chef, The Voice.
Oh yeah, this is an easy win. I mean, you're looking at this group.
Julie Chen can't even get nominated. She's brought up it's her big goal that she wants to get nominated for an Emmy, but it's not happening
You
for
know
her.
why, right? Jesus Christ. She's with that guy.
Drop that Moonves that you keep.
Julie Chen Moonves.
Or you think that's a name drop? It's not going to work for you anymore.
Huge problem for everybody.
I mean, not good. And also the talent level, I would say.
Yeah, but first.
Hey, have you seen Shane's impression of Julie Chen? It's so fucking hilarious. I can't. If I could do it, I would.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna be doing Big J storytelling show. I think tomorrow night. Called, I think it's the worst thing that ever happened to me, or something like that. It's called. You're supposed to come up and tell, the worst thing ever happened. And I'm going to tell a story about working on this show every day and how it's just been a terrible grind on me. Now I never can get anything that I want from my staff. Should be funny, I guess.
I don't know if we'll think it's funny, but
outstanding lead actress in a comedy series, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Is that the sister?
No, that's her.
That's
the lead
her.
actress,
Fleabag.
yeah. In Fleabag. Now, what makes me laugh, if I was these other fucking networks, like CBS. I'm sorry, Amazon can make a better fucking thing than you. And then you look at all the other actors, none of them are on the main things. Why are they still in the TV business if you're at ABC and NBC?
I know.
Why isn't Madam Secretary winning everything?
They're lost.
I just saw the thing from Madam Secretary for this year. She's the president. Why is it called Madam President? She gets elected president for her last year.
Congrats.
They film that outside here sometimes. Remember?
Call me. I love that girl. What's her name? Tia Leone?
Taya Leone.
Oh, is
Taya.
that when we...
That's the one we walked through by accident.
So we walked through it, and I saw Secret Service guys, and I was like, whoa, who's here? This is crazy. Somebody... And then we're like, oh, they're playing Secret Service guys.
Did you see Tia Leone?
I think we saw her getting out of a car and then getting back into it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was great.
It was exciting.
Yeah, it was really
One
thrilling.
time I was walking from here to Caroline's with BL, right? BL sees this skanky blonde. He's going, it's Tia Leone. I go, it absolutely is not Tia Leone. She wouldn't drop it.
Oh,
so much that I literally fucking started choking her until she passed out. That's how mad BL can get me. And was Tia Leone? Benny, we got to see Tia Leone. I mean, I'm like, why would Tia Leone be carrying a fucking suitcase on the street?
She would have someone to do that.
That was my thing. I was just so fucking mad about it. Director of a comedy series went to Fleabag. Lead actor in a comedy series went to Bill Hader for Barry. And then afterwards, they were asking him about cancel culture. And he's like, comedy should never hurt anyone's feelings. And I'm like, didn't you write for South Park one year? You know what I mean? That's the meanest fucking show ever.
Oh yeah,
and it's hilarious.
It's totally brutal.
They were terrible, cruel things.
To be honest with you, I literally thought that's what comedy was.
Yes.
It's like we pick one person to hurt the feelings for the enjoyment of others. Pretty sure that is comedy.
Yes.
Slapstick. That person's getting physically hurt. I mean, there's always someone getting hurt.
And don't we all laugh at the late night shows and what they do to the Trump family?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they basically, that one SNL acts like Eric Trump is mentally challenged.
Uh-huh. We all enjoy it.
I guess it's fine if it's a Trump. It's not fine if it's a trans Cuban person. All right, so Barry, you guys don't watch Barry, right?
I watched the first
Yeah.
season.
I watched Barry.
Second.
Not the second?
Not the second.
It's
Stick with
really
the-
kicks in.
Yeah, I watched the first season, too.
Winner of supporting actress, Alex Borstein, the traditional lesbian. What do you call that kind of lesbian that's kind of guyish?
Butch?
I guess Butch, lesbian from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but this is actually a lot of good people on here. But it went to her. I know one thing: women love that Mrs. Maisel show. And then Tony Shalhoub won for best supporting for Mrs. Mabel. No one marking there. So that's the big things went.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like across the board. It went pretty well, aside from the thanks for doing 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. We're just going to give this award to you guys.
Fucking waste.
for
I
all
thought
your
they would
hard
have done that for Veep because Veep She used to win every single year until she got Fleabag. I'm about to go to break here, but we have a new intern. Let's come back. We're going to meet our new intern. And then we got a lot more to talk about today. Bennington.